Hi, Tiff.
Hi, Jim.
Another week already.
I know.
Another week. Let me get Instagram. I really wish Instagram would just kind of start going live with this. I think
Yes,
you have to say go
Instagram
live.
is, I don't know why it's giving me trouble. Oh, finally. It takes a little while to kick
Yeah.
in. It's like, gosh. Okay.
Okay, we are live on Instagram. Hi, Tiff. How are you today?
I am
Dr.
great.
Tiff. You
I am
know,
great.
I need to always remember I'm talking to a doctor. Dr. Tiff. Dr. Tiffany.
Hi. Well, you know what? It isn't so much for you. It's for all the other people coming in here thinking, who is
Yes.
this woman? Why should I
Yes.
pay her any attention? You know,
Exactly. You know what?
that's
I've grown to I consider you a close friend, and I just kind of have an informal way of greeting you. And so,
yeah,
Dr. Tiffany, folks, welcome to our live stream. My name is Jim, also known as the Healthy Pit Master on social media, and I used to be a type 2 diabetic. I had a 12.2% A1C, and I was struggling. I had a 459 LDL, which that's pretty high out there.
yeah, just a little.
And that triglycerides to HDL ratio was 25.5. I was pretty sick. I was overweight. I was clinically obese. I was 5'11", 265 pounds, and really just struggling. And I stumbled across this product. A good friend of mine told me about it. I got onto it, and literally within 43 days, I was in remission from type 2 diabetes. And within 2 months, I was off of my cholesterol medications. Within 6 months, I was off my blood pressure medications. Today, I am medication free. Everything's in the healthy ranges, and I'm living my best life. I went to TikTok, of all places, social media, and started talking about this. And it seems like I've amassed an army full of testimonials, and it's the most amazing thing on the planet. And along the way, I met Dr. Tiffany. Doc, introduce yourself.
Yes, I am Dr. Tiffany. And one, I am really a doctor who just got tired of writing prescriptions. Literally, I did. So much so that a month ago, I'm not writing them anymore. But I was actually trained in family medicine and was practicing that for about 20 years. I was the doctor you would see when your sugar was up, your cholesterol up, your blood pressure was up. I was the one writing all those prescriptions. And, I saw people on them. They weren't looking better. They were having side effects. They were having drug interactions because of all the meds. After a while, metformin stopped working. After a while, lisinopril stopped working. And we had to add something else. It just became no more fun. I didn't get into medicine to keep giving people drugs. I got into medicine to help people get better. So when I found lifestyle medicine, which is about going after the root causes of conditions with using your lifestyle, how you're eating, how you're managing your stress, your exercise. And then I actually ran across some tools to make those changes easier. And that was on social media too. It's amazing what you find out on social media when your eyes are open, right?
When your eyes are open.
When your eyes are open. So here I am telling the world about this awesome product that's helped me, help my family. And I don't want to not do this ever again. This is what I want to keep doing.
Doctor, you just said something. I've known you for quite a while now, and you just said something that kind of clicked. When you got into this, when you got into medicine, you got into help people. And I think that message gets lost a lot. I think a lot of people think the doctor is almost like the enemy today. And I maybe build on that a little bit because, I don't believe that at all. I think there are some bad players in the market. But you went into this with the hopes of helping people and found yourself in a place where.
Yeah,
Can you
entirely.
build on that a little bit?
Yeah, entirely. I went to medical school with a lot of my doctor friends, right? All my friends anyway, this was our desire to help, give back. A lot of us were people that look like me, so we want to give back to our community. There's only 3% of the doctors that look like me. So this was a big thing for me to be able to do something, make an impact. And so, yeah, and that's not even just me. That's not even just me in color, but that's just, that's where I go because I'm a Black woman, of course. But the point is, lots of us did have that. And then we're also being bamboozled. So AHA, what is that? The ADA, all these other organizations, they get things that are funded by pharmaceutical companies. And then they tell us how to prescribe. Well, we don't necessarily know pharmaceutical companies have their hands in these studies or have these hands in the guidelines. We don't know that. We think they're the guidelines we're supposed to follow. Mm-hmm. And it isn't until all this stuff is coming out now that we're learning more. And so you got to be open and realize that medicine changes. We didn't make these bodies. So there's going to be some changes as we learn more. 30 years ago, heart disease was the number one killer, right? It still is. Isn't that a problem? That's a huge problem. That means there is something we're missing. So that's why I'm here. And most of us care about that.
I love that. And the first video that I didn't even know you at the time. I just knew of Dr. Tiffany. Right now, I kind of feel like I'm on the ends. Um, the first video I ever saw of you was it's a video that you went absolutely viral with, where you were saying, "I'm tired of writing prescriptions. I'm just tired of writing them. They're not working. I'm tired of having people come back and having to write more prescriptions." It's an amazing video. It's it on. I know it's on your TikTok. Is it on your Facebook and all that as well?
I think so. Somewhere in there.
Okay. So when we're done, hint, hint, you should go watch Dr. Tiffany's videos.
Yeah, hint, hint.
Dr. Tiffany, where might they find you?
Well, you can find me on Facebook as Dr. Tiffany Marie. So Instagram, YouTube. What else? TikTok.
TikTok. And of course, you can find me just about everywhere as the Healthy Pit Master. So this live stream is really a cool live stream. It's a very interactive live stream. You're going to see a lot of people in here. And there's going to be it's an amazing live stream. I just thought to open the chat here for myself. The way that this works is, if you've been invited to this, as in somebody tagged or they shared it with you, it's only an hour long. And it's some reasonably entertaining people and me. And a really smart person. And so listen, whoever it was that invited you here thinks that there's something in this that could benefit you. So listen, it's only an hour. There's no strings attached or anything like that. You can never get hurt by knowledge. So just listen. On top of that, if you are somebody who's already on the system and you want to share it, this is an amazing platform to do that.
Yes.
If you want to share it and you're on Facebook, just type the little @ symbol and start typing your friend's name. As you type it, their name will eventually populate, hit enter, and voila, they've been tagged into this. The next time they log into Facebook, they'll get a notification. So-and-so said to watch this live stream, and they'll be in front of Dr. Tiff and I listening to this. So if you've been invited, stick around. It's only an hour long. If at the end you decide you do want to purchase the products, all you have to do is get with the person who invited you. This is a referral-based product, so everybody has a referral code. So just get with that person and they will show you how to order the system. This is such a fun live. And Dr. Tiffany, we have some amazing guests today.
Yes, we do.
I'm really excited about this.
Mm-hmm.
So the format goes, we've always got a couple of testimonials, people who have actually lived the life. I've, of course, lived the life. I mentioned that I was very sick. I don't know that I mentioned that I'm in remission.
No, you got to share that.
So I had a 12.2% A1C. I did say that I was off my medications. I now have 4.8% A1C. We've got some amazing testimonials coming up to listen to. And then Dr. Tiffany will go through and kind of explain what the big problem is. And I will go through and kind of talk a little bit about the science, because that's where I like to geek out a little bit, and then how to use the system. And then we'll have an open questions and answers portion of this live stream where you can ask Dr. Tiffany questions, or either of the testimonials, either of the guests questions, or if you want to ask me questions, feel free. So with that being said, Dr. Tiff, do you want to introduce Glenn?
I do. And make sure you ask Jim questions. He's always trying to put me on the hot seat. So ask him some questions. Okay. So the next person, I got to meet her in person. She actually came out to where we were, and she was so cute. She was like, I can't really talk in front of people, and this is so hard for me. And next thing I know, I see her mouth all over TikTok, spreading the word, big old huge crowds of people, because she has such an amazing story. Going from, she had 9 meds, and then now you're only on 1 now. You got off of 8 of those meds. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not even going to steal her thunder at all, because it's the going down to 1 med from 9 meds for me. So yes, please welcome Delana. She is awesome.
Thank you, Healthy Pit Master, and thank you, Dr. Tiffany, both for having me on here to tell my story and tell the amazing progress that I've gotten. And, I was struggling with a lot of different things: hypertension, high cholesterol, prediabetes, acid reflux, inflammation. I was receiving steroid epidurals, because they said I had a herniated disc. I did 3 of those without success. I was doing dry needling with physical therapy, no success. Depression, anxiety, so rise of the scalp, didn't know why I was just clawing and itching all the time. Again, was on 9 different medications. And, this little friend of mine here was my friend that I no longer have to use anymore. So, when I was strolling, I was just like you guys. I was listening and I was like, wow, this protocol in 2 weeks increased my mood dramatically. It brought my smile back. It increased the the sensation that I knew that was within me, but I had let the depression of the medicine and my health get me down. And 3 months later, the acid reflux, the IBS, and the constipation that went away. And then as the months rolled in, I started knowing my blood pressure. I started feeling a little dizzy as I was taking this. So I was like, let me start monitoring my blood pressure. As I was doing that, it was going down. So I got with my doctor and I said, hey, I just need to know one thing. Can I come off this medicine here? And when I got that first okay, I was like, wow, because I had an allergic reaction to my blood pressure medicine where it caused angioedema and it actually swelled up my intestines. I was the 3% of people that took a medication that actually caused angioedema, but actually swelled up on the inside. So I was actually, being sick from the inside out and didn't know what was wrong with me. So I didn't do like most people did. January of that year, I said, I need to go ahead and have my labs done. I know I got high cholesterol. I've told the doctor, let me do it with diet and exercise. Let me, just try it my way. I was doing P90X, isogenics, fit body boot camp, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem. I had counted calories, counted points. When I tell you nothing was working, and I mean, I'm paying somebody to run me around this intervals every 30 seconds to, lose weight. I'm lifting weights. I'm doing everything. Nothing was happening. So when I got my cholesterol back, I was told that it was still high. And I was like, okay. I said, I got two products that I'm trying, the natural. Can I just let me just try it for to my birthday? That was January. My birthday's in May, Cinco de Mayo. I said, let me try it and see what happens. Well, let me tell you, the congratulations rolled in when I got my cholesterol panel and it had dropped it down. My triglycerides was 130 points that it dropped down. My total cholesterol went down 76 points. When I tell you, I literally got on the floor and I looked up at my husband and tears was rolling down my face. And he's looking at me like, babe, what's wrong? I said, you don't understand. I'm not going to have to take any more medicine. My daughter had just told me that I was going to be a grandmother for the first time. So I knew that I was going to get to live and play with that little grandson of mine. And he's amazing. He'll be 1 this next month. So to know that, and then as it starts to go on, I come off some more medicines. I come off some more blood pressure medicines. And let me tell you, it is amazing. And I want to let you know that being on this protocol has literally saved my life. It not only saved it for me having the inflammation gone that I can get down in the floor and play with my grandson. It not only saved it for me to be there when my daughter went through all her stresses during her pregnancy, because my mom had open heart surgery. My papa, my aunt, my uncle all died of massive heart attacks. So I was at a place knowing about my cholesterol, knowing about my blood pressure, and being pre-diabetic and all the other symptoms. I didn't think I was going to be here. So when I say that this protocol literally changed and saved my life, it literally did.
I tried to
I,
mute so I wouldn't be interrupting because my gosh, that story.
So, Dr. Tiff, while you were giving that, she said, I just sent you her before and after. And so now I'm like, oh, let me get it. Hang tight. I'm going to share this. We're not done yet. Here,
Yes.
tell us about this.
so that's the most exciting time because the secondary benefit of reversing my health is the most amazing thing. I'm down 70 points. And when I tell you to be down 70 pounds is an amazing feeling because of the inflammation that was in my body. I didn't realize how swollen I was. I didn't realize that I looked like I was like 9 months pregnant at the age of 48 at the time that I took that picture. And I've been on the system since for 17 months. I will be 50 come my birthday, and I feel like I'm 22 years old. Let me just tell you, I mean, this is the best thing that ever could have happened to me.
Yes. That's how
Doctor,
you bring in 50. That's how you bring in 50, sis. Yes.
Dr. Tiff, I think there's something we should have a conversation about the anti-aging effects here because is
Right?
it just me? Is it just me?
No,
There's no way
no,
she's
that's not
50.
just you. Mm-mm,
Okay, got a
mm-mm.
Yes.
grandchild. She looks like she's like 30.
I know.
You got best friend points there. But I did in the office the other day. I did the Toyota jump. I dance and I sing because it increases my mood. It provides me so much energy. And I sing all the time. And a lot of people, they'll look at me like, what is going on with you? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. What's wrong with y'all? That's like, are you sure you're singing, you're dancing? Because I was a Krabby Patty before.
Mm.
I was a get it done. Let's get it done. It's all about this. Is we got to do it. This got to do it. My mindset has changed because of my health. And when your mindset change because of your health, you can do anything.
I am so happy. A couple of things that you touched on. I just want to ask a couple of questions here. IBS. So I had IBS really bad myself, and it was fixed really, really quick. Like that would have been, oftentimes people say, well, when did you start to see results? And I've had so many results. It's like, well, which one are you talking about? For me, that happened. That was easily the first thing. And for me, it was day number 2,
Mm.
literally day number 2. And we got my mom on the system, and it was the same thing for my mom. And then I
Mhm.
had other customers had the same exact kind of thing. Now, you mentioned 2 weeks.
Yes.
What is boy, I don't want to be graphic or anything like that. What is it? What is it like to? I felt like I was handcuffed. Like you going to an airport and spending a day flying was. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to the mall. I don't want to go out to restaurants. Because
Yeah.
when it hits, right?
Mm. Yes, definitely.
So you said IBS. What were some other ones? The ones that maybe are on the outskirts of what people would consider.
So I also had PCOS, so acid reflux PCOS. I was dealing with fibroids and cysts on my ovaries. So to know that that pain is not there anymore, because that's a terrible pain to go through. And when you're dealing with, I found out during the episode of me having the reaction to my blood pressure medicine that's where I found out I had all of these issues going on, and going to GI and them telling me, well, you got to take Nexium, you got to take omeprazole. It wasn't helping, you know. And I'm like, I'm doing exactly what you told me. And that's one thing I do. I work with my providers because they're my best friends, so I know that they care. So they're trying to provide the right care for me. So, but I knew my body was just not adjusting to the medicine that I was given.
And I don't know if you see the amount of love that you're getting here. We are live on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, and it's coming across all the platforms. Um, Everybody's saying congratulations. Stacy is saying the same thing. 2 weeks gone, or 2 weeks. IBS was gone. Oops, I took that one away too quick. So that is amazing. Delana, what I want to do is I want to get over to Dr. Tiffany and ask her to kind of explain what's going on here. I want to turn your camera off, but I want to see if you'll stick around towards the end of the live stream to, if there's any questions that people might have for you. Is that
Okay.
okay?
Yes, sir, it is.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Dr. Tiff, why?
Mhm. Yeah, why? Let me go and
A
share my
lot of things
screen.
in there. IBS. I mean, obviously, we talked about PCOS, but this is a great opportunity. But why? What?
Yeah, the fibroids. Now that's a little surprising to me, and I wanted to have somebody with that experience. It's the inflammation, I believe. So I love to hear that. So let me get this going. Okay. So I mean, who wants to talk after Delana? I just want to keep hearing her talk. Her story was awesome, so awesome. But okay, so what are we dealing with? We're dealing with the root cause of the problem is poor metabolic health. We have this Tufts University study that was back in 2022 that showed that 93% of Americans are struggling with their metabolic health. 1 in 3 people in the U.S. are struggling, so only 7% are actually healthy. The bad part of this is when this became an issue, actually way back when, heart disease was found to be an issue, they were looking for a cholesterol medicine. And what they found was that, the cholesterol medicine that we usually prescribe, a statin, really only decreases cardiovascular risk by 1%, meaning the number needed to treat, you have to treat almost 100 people to save one person from having a heart attack. Hello, there's a problem there. And so when you can actually get better numbers by changing your lifestyle, when you make the lifestyle changes, managing your stress, eating the right foods, the order of how you eat, increasing your veggies, your fiber, you can decrease that risk by 39%. So it becomes, what are we doing here? At least that's what it was for me. And like I was saying earlier, heart disease was an issue 30 years ago. And what was crazy was the doctors who were like, okay, we're gonna push against not smoking, we're gonna work on low-fat diets. They were like, we'll definitely eradicate this disease in the early 2000s. It's 2025. We're still struggling. Why? So part of the reason why we're still struggling, diabetes numbers are going up, and that actually is one of the biggest precursors to the heart disease. So that's why this is so important. This isn't the only part of insulin resistance, but actually Dr. Ben Bigman, what he says is actually type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance. So even though the insulin resistance is the root cause, he literally says it is insulin resistance. But anyhow, so 30.3 million people have type 2 diabetes, 1 out of every 10 people. And 1 out of every 4 don't know they have it. And then so 84.1 million people are dealing with pre-diabetes, and 9 out of 10 don't know they have that either. Why this is a problem for not just people in the US is that it's a global health crisis. It's affecting people everywhere. That's what the color is. There's only one place that looks like it doesn't have a lot of color. But even still, it still has a lot of numbers. 71.1 million in Europe, okay? So, and then the other part of this, the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, that's the other problem. Because what was that, back in 1980s? Before the 1980s, your liver disease was alcoholic. That's who was getting it. After the 1980s, they started seeing a rise, and it was, why are we seeing the rise? The fructose corn syrup was giving it, and now you have kids with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, kids. So over half of all adults have insulin resistance, and all these conditions are the more of the leaves to the root of this tree: fatty liver, heart disease, body fat around the midsection, particularly PCOS, like Delana was talking about. And I like this picture even better with the symptoms, because the skin tags, and I've been really on the skin tags for about a week here. This right here, so many people think that's something cosmetic, not a big deal, or it's hereditary. That's what we like to say. That's what I used to tell people. But actually, this is actually a good sign of insulin resistance. If you have 5 or 6 of these, we have the studies for it. Back in 2012, 2010, they did studies showing the correlation with skin tags and insulin resistance. And it's 2025. And I still have people saying I'm crazy when I tell them that. But when you see those skin tags, that means get to your doctor, especially if you have any of these other things: inability to lose weight, constantly hungry, tired after meals, the brain fog. And then, of course, the high cholesterol, the blood pressure, the type 2 diabetes, the PCOS, like Delana was saying, erectile dysfunction, all those things. So what is insulin resistance? Usually when we say insulin, people just equate it to type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes, but we have this hormone. And its job is to deliver energy into our cells, but also it ends up storing excess glucose as fat. It regulates blood sugar levels. So what is insulin resistance? Well, it happens. That's what is called when the cells don't respond to insulin as well. And then this happens because when insulin becomes too high in the bloodstream, it bathes the cells and then they don't respond. It becomes resistant. And then what causes our insulin to get too high? That is basically based upon what we're putting in our mouth, what we're eating and what we're drinking. And so about almost 3/4 of and this is the world, have problems with, actually they eat too many carbs. That's what this is showing, okay? And this is a global nutrient database. And our carbs really pretty much have been stripped of their fiber, which ends up being more of processed carbs that actually bother us. Now, this isn't necessarily, it is processed, but that's not what I'm talking about when I say that. But the point is, it doesn't have the fiber to dampen the effect of the carbohydrate. This is the processed carbohydrates I'm talking about. And this is the modern food environment, the chips, the cookies, the crackers, the things that are packaged, boxed, and barcoded. Eating these things have actually really increased our carbohydrate load. And so when you have carbohydrates, you eat them. It gets broken down into glucose. And then your pancreas, its job is to get that glucose into the cells to use it. These, kick that stuff up so astronomically, it's crazy. And not only that, they don't have the fiber, so it's easy to overeat them. And then they have all that extra sugar, so it's easy to become addicted to them. They have the colors, they have the pretty packaging, and you just eat them. You just can't eat just one, right? And so on top of the processed carbs, the other problem that we actually got us to this place would be eating carbohydrates more frequently. Because for a while there, we were told we had to do 6 to 11 servings of carbohydrates. And so every time you eat something that gets broken down into glucose, and specifically your carbohydrates get broken down into more glucose than your protein and your fat, is pretty negligible. So your insulin level goes up when you have that high carbohydrate breakfast. Then you decide, you know what, I want a snack. You could get a granola bar. That's going to kick up your insulin level too. And then you have something for lunch and you're trying to be healthy. So you do maybe a sandwich or a wrap that has some carbs in it. And then you get your snack, maybe some chips, and then your dinner or your dessert. And if you notice, if you're always eating carbohydrates with these meals and these snacks, you're keeping that insulin level up and you don't give it time to come back down. And that's why that cell is bathing in insulin and becomes resistant. So this is what I say. 5 things you can do immediately. 1, trying to do more of a lower carbohydrate diet and trying to focus on low glycemic index foods. The University of Sydney has a great database that they only hold that helps you find out what foods are low glycemic index. That means it's going to shoot up your glucose much less. It's going to shoot up your insulin much less. Then avoiding processed carbs and refined sugars, because nobody needs to eat those. I don't care what condition you have. I don't care where you're from. Nobody needs that. I like to call it big fooder because it's fake food anyway. That just needs to go. I don't care what condition you got. Then 3 would be resistance training. Not just your cardio like we think. So many of us as women, we're always on that daggone hamster wheel, on the treadmill, on the bike. But if we're really trying to get our insulin levels down, doing some sort of resistance training actually helps us even more. So doing them together along with the cardio is good. Having a high fiber intake is great. I love veggies. You don't have to do veggies to do well, to get your insulin levels down. You have people that do, you have people who do carnivore. They're able to get their insulin levels down. But I like veggies. I do. Now, fruits, I tend to use those as my nature's dessert. So I have them at the end of my meal. But if you're going to do carbohydrates, make sure they're high in fiber, because we have a lot of data on increasing fiber, improving cholesterol, sugar, and even with some heart disease. Then time-based eating. Not snacking between your meals or after dinner would be time-based eating. Intermittent fasting is when you're missing a meal or fasting for longer periods. Tapping into that fasting power, there is so much that happens after 16 hours, even to 72 hours. That's autophagy. Our cells actually reboot themselves and get rid of broken processes and make super cells. Healing happens. So doing that is huge. So when I say all that, that kind of sounds like a lot of stuff. So having something to help you do it is very important. So we have GLP-1. It's a hormone we all have in our body. It was there, but we have stopped responding to it as much because of our lifestyle. And that hormone actually slows down the food we eat as it goes through our gut, but also tells us we're not hungry. That's what we naturally have. We just don't respond to it well, okay? So if we can boost this hormone, boy, would that be helpful, right? Well, Big Pharma figured that out too, and they made a drug that actually boosts that hormone astronomically. That would be your Ozempic, Wegovy. And so you get some crazy side effects, gut paralysis, gut perforation, blindness, thyroid cancer. A lot. Does everybody get all those symptoms? No, but they're pretty severe when you get them. And then at the end of 2 years, you get the return of the sweet cravings, the thing that they were doing so well, turning off the food noise. That's why it's so helpful to boost your GLP-1 naturally. Good thing with the products we're going to talk about, they have the chlorogenic acid in it, which acts like metformin, acts like a statin, but the theobromine, which also causes that feel good part of the tea that we drink, it's great. But it boosts GLP-1. And then as well as the fiber part of this, with the short chain fatty acids and the soluble fiber, having that all together boosts our natural GLP-1, so we get the great side effects of weight loss, along with decreasing the sugars, the cholesterol, the blood pressure, and the insulin resistance. And we already said where you can find me, but that's me again. Back to you, Jim.
You make that so easy. You do. I like that. And I love the fact that you are very approachable. I feel like people are comfortable listening to you describe that. And once you kind of figure out that it's this little condition called insulin resistance, it's not a chronic and progressive disease, it is a symptom.
Yep.
Right? And when we don't throw a bunch of medications at a runny nose that is a symptom of a cold, right? We address the root cause. And so it's not that different. I wanted to kind of build on the chlorogenic acid thing. I think that's what I'm going to do my little bit of a deep dive on today. I don't think I've done that yet. So I do want to talk about real quick how to use the products. Okay. And I've got an amazing testimonial coming up next. Elena was amazing. So let me introduce our next guest, and then I'll jump over to how to use the products. And I want to spend a little bit of time digging into that chlorogenic acid because that thing is really kind of cool.
Yes.
Okay, so this is Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
Well, I'm not going to introduce you, Kim. I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself. A couple questions that I like to do is how did we meet? What was your health like when we met? And what is your health like today?
So I met you through TikTok because I love TikTok, and I was scrolling and I saw your video, and I kept watching your lives over and over and over again because I learned something every time I watched it. And I was skeptical at first because I'm a skeptic by nature, and I finally decided to give it a try. And I wasn't sure what it would do for me, even though I listened to everything you said. But after like less than a month, I was off my insulin. And I felt better. My body felt better. I was sleeping good. My menopause issues were lessened. And I have depression and anxiety, and that helped a lot with that also. And my joints and stuff were not swollen anymore. There was no inflammation in my body. And I was very excited about that. So I have cystic fibrosis, which is primarily a digestive and lung disease, but it also affects other organs and systems in your body, like my liver, my pancreas. I can't digest my vitamins, so I have osteoporosis, arthritis, like I said, depression and anxiety I had, because a lot of people with chronic illnesses get those things because it's depressing to be sick all the time and not feel good. And so it's awful struggle. And then the mental stuff is just awful. And so I posted a video today on my Facebook about me lifting. I deadlifted 110 pounds today. And so I feel pretty good about that because I'm a little skinny person and I feel like a badass, excuse my French, but I feel a badass when lifting weights. And so I love that feeling of being able to do things for myself like that. And so I'm very excited about promoting this Feel Great system because it is a Feel Great system in every aspect of the word. And I've got lots of family in here right now, I think. And I've got family with diabetes. One cousin has a pump, and I'd love to get her off the pump. And I wish that my wish is for people that I love would just try it and see for themselves how it works and makes them feel better and hopefully get them off medication. I'm hoping my dad would do this, but he's stubborn like I am. And so it's going to take him a minute to come around to doing it. But it would help his heart. And I think it would help his heart and all the things. It would be great for him too. I'm very nervous. I'm sorry.
You are amazing.
Awesome.
What I love about Kim is she's so genuine. I know that she's terrified over there. I can tell that she's terrified because I know her now. I've gotten to know her pretty well over the last 7 or 8 months, Kim?
Yep.
And I know that she's definitely stepping outside of her comfort zone just being right here with us. But what I love about Kim is she's about as genuine as they get genuine. This is from her heart. Yeah. You had a picture you wanted me to show.
Yes. This is my friends Tim and Nancy, and they started this program because of I told them about this. And Nancy's very research, and so she did a lot of research, and ever since they started using it, Tim is off his metformin. Nancy's got osteoarthritis, and she says she feels a lot better. Her body just feels good, and she's feeling healthy and active and has energy for all the things that she does. And they're so grateful that they started this. And Tim tells me all the time he's so grateful that I told them about this and they got started. So I know that since, like I say, Nancy's very methodical in her research. And if she does this and it worked for her, that made me happy.
I think there's something that she's scratching on there, Dr. Tiff, and it's the idea that her husband's obviously in there and he's on the system. She's got her best friends on the system. Your cousin, who's Tammy? Tammy is
Tammy's my cousin.
Cousin, yeah. The idea of telling your family about it. We don't tell our family about scams. So I think there's a big deal there in sharing it with the family. Kim, you are absolutely amazing. I'm going to ask the same thing of you that I asked of Delana. Can I shut your camera off, but will you stick around for the end of the live stream where I can bring you back in if people have any questions for you?
Wait, before you let her go.
Oh,
before you let her go.
I'm sorry.
I mean, the deadlifting. Okay, I don't curse. So me and my daughter call that bad apple behavior. I mean, that's awesome. I think that is so awesome. I had to say that before you let her go.
And I want to be clear. She's I've met her in person. She's all of 95 pounds. Like 110 is more than her body weight. So that's amazing. You didn't tell me that. What the heck? Okay. Leaving that for me on a live stream. Okay, here we go. I want to go through how to use the system. It's such a simple thing. So intermittent fasting, a 16 and 8 time-based eating schedule. You'll pair the 16 and 8. So for me personally, at 8 p.m., I'm done eating for the day. I don't eat again until noon the following day. That's 16 consecutive hours of no food. From noon until 8, I allow myself 2 meals, no snacks. The meals are big enough and filling enough that I'm not going to want a snack before the next meal. So you don't ever hear me talking about portion size. I eat until I'm full. I push the plate away. Voila. So when you wake up in the morning, you're going to drink a yerba mate. And I'm going to get into some chlorogenic acid detail with this. But this tea right here is a yerba mate supplement, yerba mate extract. So yerba mate is a tea that's been pretty widely consumed for the last 500 to 1,000 years in South America. The indigenous people of the regions of South America that are now Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay would say that it gave them an amazing boost of energy. It made them feel full. They referred to it, and they still refer to it as the drink of the gods. I believe it's the national drink of Argentina. I mean, it is a staple in South America. Now, what about chlorogenic acid, or about the tea gives them that boost? And we know a lot of that comes from this polyphenol called chlorogenic acid. So chlorogenic acid is something that naturally occurs in vegetation. You'll find it in certain fruits, certain vegetables, nuts, seeds. It's very abundant in chia seeds. It's very abundant in tea. It's actually most abundant in nature in a green coffee bean. Now I want to dive in a little bit. So let's see here. I'm just going to go over to, I'm going to share a screen here. I'm going to try to share a screen. Boy, walk and chew bubblegum at the same time, right? Come on, Jim. Okay, here we go. So this is just a Google screen. Does chlorogenic acid reverse insulin resistance? And they're saying, just Google's AI. Yes, chlorogenic acid appears to have a potential to reverse insulin resistance. And then you ask Google, What foods have chlorogenic acid? It'll tell you fruits, vegetables, coffee beans, tea, and herbs. This study here, now this is NIH.gov, National Institutes for Health, PubMed. This is a place to host research. Now, this little piece of research looks at the effects of chlorogenic acid on blood pressure. Real quick, just a poll question to everybody listening right now. Do you have high blood pressure? Just a yes or no. Everybody just give me a quick little yes or no in the comments section if you have blood pressure issues. So this study looks at the effects of chlorogenic acid on blood pressure. It is a systematic review and meta-analysis of randomized clinical trials. That is that's kind of the gold bar standard for research. And as we scroll down, I'm just going to go down to the end because I like cliff notes. In conclusion, the evidence from published randomized clinical trials suggests that chlorogenic acid intake causes statistically significant reductions in systolic and diastolic blood pressures. Dr. Tiffany, that sounds a lot like chlorogenic acid lowers blood pressure.
That's what I'm hearing.
This study right here, chlorogenic acid improves glucose tolerance. Well, that's what we're talking about, right? Lipids metabolism, inflammation, and microbiota composition in diabetic mice. So again, just a quick yes or no to everybody listening. Anybody have problems with glucose tolerance, lipid metabolism, inflammation? If so, just type yes. So the way that this study was structured, they gave diabetic mice either chlorogenic acid or metformin, the number one prescribed medication for type 2 diabetes, right? And the results showed that chlorogenic acid decreased body weight, so it aided in weight loss, and improved glucose tolerance and insulin resistance. So it increased insulin sensitivity. And these effects were similar to those of metformin. That's a powerful statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
These effects were similar to those of metformin. This is a review, again, from PubMed Central. By the way, all of these are available on PubMed Central. Roles of chlorogenic acid on regulating glucose and lipids metabolism. Again, this is a review. And chlorogenic acid is a novel insulin sensitizer that potentiates insulin action similar to the therapeutic action of metformin. And then finally, this one here, a chlorogenic acid-induced increase in GLP-1 production. Indeed, there is recent evidence that coffee increases production of the incretin hormone, glucagon-like peptide 1. Now, what is all of this? I'm going to get over to my little product sheet. I'm going to try to get over to my little product sheet. Here we go. Share this tab. So this is Unicity Unimate's product sheet. And you will notice here, just in their write-up, the result is a proprietary extract that enhances the benefits of yerba mate and contains up to 10 times the amount of chlorogenic acids in a typical cup of coffee and 20 times the chlorogenic acids found in other commercially available yerba mate products. Now, I want to talk real quick about this guy right here, Dr. Benjamin Bickman. Oops, I guess I should share the tab. Dr. Ben Bickman is a professor of cell biology and physiology at Brigham Young University. Dr. Bickman is in charge of the Laboratory of Obesity and Metabolism at BYU, and he pays particular emphasis on the etiology of insulin resistance. In fact, he has been published more than 30 times on the topic of insulin resistance. Now, why do I talk about him so much? Well, he published this again from PubMed Central. He published this in October of 2023. It looked at a yerba mate supplement, Dr. Ben Bickman. And if you scroll down, you'll see that he used Unicity's Unimate for the mate. And what this study ultimately says, it's a fascinating study, go through and read it, it increased the efficiency at which we burn fat. And I guess I'm going to ask the question real quick. Of the people that are listening, would you like to become a more efficient fat burner? Just a yes or no in the comment section. Is there anybody who would like to become a more efficient fat burner? Now, Dr. Tiffany talked about GLP-1. Well, while Dr. Bickman was looking at or doing this study, he observed something interesting with the GLP-1.
That I'll be sharing at a meeting in March in Las Vegas is that this yerba mate supplement called Unimate also increases GLP-1. We found in this experiment we did, the GLP-1 levels went up by about 70% in the fasted states, which is pretty considerable.
How about that? That's pretty dang interesting. So when we wake up, the first thing that we do is drink a tea. It's literally the first thing that I do. I wake up, I drink mine hot. You can drink it cold. When you order, Unicity is going to send you a plastic bottle. We call it the diamond bottle. You can use it in there. I pour it into a Yeti tumbler that I have. It's a 30-ounce Yeti tumbler. Again, hot or cold. I like to drink mine hot, however you want to. What you want to do is sip on it. And I will sip on this. This thing right here will take me 2 to 3 hours to sip on. When I'm done with it, I just open a second packet, drink a second one. What I have found is that my lunch cravings get really small. I'm really not that hungry during lunch, and it's easier to push the plate away. Now, the second product that we use is called Balance, and it's a fiber supplement. And I think maybe I'll do a deep dive on Balance next week. Balance is a patented blend of 7 plant-based fibers with a multivitamin, and it has been shown to reduce blood glucose levels by the University of Sydney, Australia, which I believe, Dr. Tiffany, you mentioned the University of Sydney. It's been shown to reduce blood glucose levels by 20 to 28%, blood insulin levels, because that's what we really care about, by 13 to 27%. And then the Cleveland Clinic studied this in 2001, published research on it in 2002, and that study found, and I quote, well, I don't want to quote. Let me just bring it up. I'm going to try and just do this real quick because this is a valuable study. Fiber and multivitamin combination therapy. Let's go here. Share this tab. So right here, again from PubMed, fiber and multivitamin combination therapy. The full text is right here. And what they concluded, such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. And I'm going to be so bold as to substitute some words into here. Such a product, they're talking about Balance, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk. That is heart disease. On a population basis, that is everybody. And potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. Those are statin medications. So Balance, if taken regularly, well, we take it every day, could reduce heart disease for everybody and potentially decrease the need and or dose for statin medications. Is that close, doctor?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that paraphrase. That's it.
That works? Okay. So before our heaviest meal of the day, we drink one of these. Yep. And that's the system, guys. That is it. That is the entire thing. The company offers you a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you try it and you give it your go, your best effort, try it for 3 consecutive months, 90 days. If at the end of the 90 days you're not satisfied for any reason, just ask for a refund. They'll give you all your money back. But what if? What if?
That part.
It's the what if. And if you want to order the product, again, just get with whoever it was that invited you to this live stream, and they will share their referral link. If you kind of stumbled across one of these live streams, just get with Dr. Tiff or myself, and we will kind of point you in the right direction. We'll get you hooked up with somebody. So there we go. That's kind of, did I miss anything, Doctor?
Okay. No,
Cool.
You did great.
Then let's do this. I want to bring back our guests. And folks, I love this part. This is an opportunity for you guys to ask Dr. Tiffany questions, our guests any questions, and if you feel like you want to put something for me, you're more than welcome to ask me questions too. What questions do you have? And they can be anything. They can be anything about, how to use the protocol, you know, if you're struggling, or food choices, or if you want to know about Kim's struggles with cystic fibrosis. Ask a question.
Could I just say something? Sorry.
Yes. No.
So I forgot to mention, because I'm nervous. If I would have known this years ago, I could not get pregnant, because CF people mostly cannot get pregnant. And so I had my uterus yanked, and then all this stuff would have been not necessary if I had started this a long time ago, I think. So I wish I would have known this like years ago, because I would have saved myself a lot of problems, I think.
I'm going to tee that one up a little bit, because Balance has been around since 1989, 36 years it's been around. And it wasn't but a few years after Balance that the United States legalized metformin. So when you say you didn't know about it, I wonder why. Mm-hmm. It's been around for 36 years. And the Cleveland Clinic studied it in the early 2000s. So the Cleveland Clinic, that little body of research on, and that, by the way, I don't know if I said it or not, that was a double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized clinical trial. That's a legitimate study. That's and it's a shame when you start looking back and saying, I wish I would have known. Mm-hmm. So many of us say, I wish I would have known. Mm-hmm. You know, more so for the loved ones, I have found, than anything else. Okay, so kind of quiet on the question front. Susan says, both products are so important. I really appreciate the benefits of balanced fiber since I had such triglyceride and cholesterol issues. Myra says, you have nothing to lose. 90-day money-back guarantee. Here we go. Dr. Tiffany, you want to take that one right there?
Oh, sure. Well, we diagnose prediabetes when you have an A1C above 5.7. And then when you have an A1C above 6.4, that's when you get right on into type 2 diabetes land.
And Ruth asks this question. Dr. Tiffany, do you want to answer that, or do you want me to answer that?
Well, we aren't saying anything about coming off your medications. And so I guess the question probably is definitely what medicine you're on. That's when talking to your sponsor is important. So like, I am not your doctor, so I can't tell you exactly what things you need to do, but your sponsor can kind of guide you. The Unimate isn't going to affect those medications at all. The balance, because it does block the absorption of the carbohydrates, if you have a medication that has to be done on an empty stomach, that would be the only time that would be a problem with that.
Becky asks, and I think this is more for Kim. Oh, actually, Delana, you said you had IBS problems. No, you did not. Okay, Kim, with IBS, did you have problems with extra gas?
Oh, I didn't have IBS, but I have CF, which does my digestive system. And no, not me. I did not.
I was right. It was Delana. You said you had IBS.
So I have acid reflux, but that's part of IBS when you deal with the stomach and the gut. When it's all irritable, it's all messed up, right? Because you're constipated. That's part of IBS. You have diarrhea at times. That's part of IBS. And you do have a lot of gas. So yes, as my husband would probably say, I'm very gassy, or was.
I will say I did not have any problems with that.
No, that was previously. Now, no, I did not.
Charles, I like this. Question for the panel. I work out 2 to 3 hours a day, hour of cardio and 1 to 1.5 hours of weights. Would this product along with 2 meals be enough? Also, what are the side effects? I know people that take Ozempic and have GI, gastrointestinal issues. I want to take a first crack at that one, if you don't mind.
Yeah, have it.
First off, there is a lot of people who are professional athletes who swear by Unimate. I'm going to start with Zach Bitter. He is a world record ultra marathon runner, and he swears by Unimate, the T. Michael Saunders held at one point, I believe, 3 different world records in powerlifting. And then there are certain athletes, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., maybe you've heard of him in Major League Baseball, swears by the products. Would this product, along with 2 meals, be enough? Absolutely. I think a lot of people work out in a fasted state. Are there any side effects? So there is a book called The Physician's Desk Reference, the PDR. Now, this is the book that people like Dr. Tiffany would go to. You know what? Dr. Tiffany is brilliant, and I wouldn't doubt if she was the one doctor who actually did have every side effect for every medication that was ever created in her head. All of the dosing considerations, all of the contraindications, all of the drug interactions. I mean, it's ridiculous. All of those things. Doctors don't memorize that. They go to a book called the Physician's Desk Reference. That's where they look up things like commonly prescribed pharmaceuticals. Well, the Physician's Desk Reference, you can find it at pdr.net, prescribers digital reference.net PDR. And you can look up the side effects of things like Ozempic and metformin. You can look up the side effects of all those. Well, the PDR will also list nutraceuticals. And there are a lot of companies that would love to have their products in the PDR. Companies like Herbalife. Herbalife would love to have their products recognized by the PDR as a nutraceutical because, of course, their sales would go through the roof if the Physician's Desk Reference did that. But you will not find their products in there. And I'm not slamming their products. I don't know anything about Herbalife, but I just know that they're not in the PDR. Procter & Gamble has some products that they would love to have in the PDR. Metamucil, Pepto-Bismol, they would love to have those in the PDR. They are not in the PDR. Unicity has 19 different products in the PDR. Now, something about the PDR is it gives the side effects for things. So I'm going to tell you there's no side effects to it, but do your own research, go over to the PDR and look up the side effects. You will see, I shouldn't say there's none. There is the opportunity for some gastrointestinal discomfort while your body gets used to a high quality fiber. So, long-winded answer. I'm sorry I talked too much.
Definitely need to make sure they eat enough protein, eat enough calories. Those are the things you have to pay attention to. Oh, yes. I love this question. I'm glad you put this up. So, Katina, the juicing, not a good idea. You're pulling out all the fiber and you're getting all the sugars. And so it's going to mess stuff up. So, not the juicing. We need to check. Too much natural sugar.
Okay. Let's see. Johnny, I'm just going to throw this one up. Johnny, I've been diagnosed with Crohn's disease, that family of gastrointestinal issues. All have stress and inflammation at the core of the problem. The field rate system's reduction in inflammation is great, as with any change in one with IBS conditions, probably want to gradually step into. Yes. I love it. Is it PDR? Yes. As in Physician's Desk Reference would be the book. The digital version of it is the prescriber's digital reference. So the prescriber's digital reference is part of the Physician's Desk Reference suite of goods. PDR.net. And I would really encourage everybody to go and look up the medications that they're currently on. Go and just check them out. Do you know what you're actually putting into your body? Go and check them out and then have a conversation with your doctor. I'm going to start pumping the brakes here. I want to go through some quick questions with our panels. Kim, and we got to be kind of quick here. If you were talking to somebody, everybody's a skeptic. Everybody's a skeptic, rightfully so. There's too much snake oil out there. There's too many other things out there that people aren't trustworthy. If you were talking to somebody in this audience right now, and you were talking about this product, 30 seconds, what do you say to them?
First of all, I love you. That's why I'm talking to you about this product, and I want what's best for you. And I feel that I could trust this product because I trusted you, Jim. I know you want the best for me, and I want the best for you. And it really does help. It's amazing, a product, and give it a try.
I love that. So genuine. Delana, same question.
So, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Because that's where I was. I was sick and tired of all the aches and pains. I was sick and tired of taking the medication every day, day in, day out, not getting any change. And guess what? I don't have anything to lose because it's guaranteed that if I don't even like the taste, I can get my money back. So, if you're tired of over and over doing what you were doing I'm 49. I was doing the same thing for a very long time. and nothing changed. If you want change and you want to do something that's better for your health, why not give the product a try?
Yes, yes, yes.
I want to real quick. I see my beautiful bride Amanda answered the question on TikTok, but I'm going to answer the question for everybody on the other platforms because we are live on TikTok at the same time. Somebody asked if they could drink a cup of coffee without cream and sugar before their Unimate. Absolutely, without cream and sugar. Yes. Okay. Dr. Tiff, right back at you. What do you say?
Well, you know what? I had a family member, 20 years ago, that refused to take medications and wanted to do natural things. I knew nothing. All I knew were the prescriptions. So now that I know better, for everybody who's sitting at home, not taking their medications for their side effects, they don't want to be on them, they don't like the risks, and they're doing nothing, this is for you. Come try this natural product. There's 90-day money-back guarantee. You have absolutely nothing to lose but your cholesterol, your sugars, your blood pressure, the waistline. I'm saying, why not?
Why not? I don't know that I could add much to that. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. It's money back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, ask for a refund. Ladies, you guys are incredible. You make me look good.
Yes, you guys are awesome.
Dr. Tiff, I will see you next Wednesday. Kim, Delana, thank you for joining us tonight. Everybody have a wonderful evening.